A good leader will lead to good followership. So today, we would like to share about good followership for future leader, history and development.
When we talk about leadership, most of the attention is often given to the leader, their vision, character, and responsibilities. But the truth is, no leader can success without the support of good followers. In Islam, followership is not about obedience, it's about being responsible, trustworthy, and actively supporting what is right. The Prophet Muhammad SAW himself had companions who were loyal, wise, and deeply committed to the mission of Islam like four caliphs. Their good followership play a major role in the success of leadership. This assignment we look at how followership has developed through Islamic history and how it has helped shape great leaders. We will explore what makes a good followers based on Islamic value and why this is important today.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. My name is Alidina binti Abdul Hafiz and my matric number 1231423. We always hear about leaders, how strong, how smart and how inspiring they are. But today I want to talk about something just as important which people often forget, and that is followers. The truth is there is no leader without followers. Imagine a captain with no team. Can they play alone? The answer is no. That's why we need to understand how important followers are in creating great leaders. A leaders need followers, not just any followers, but a good, responsible, and active one. So today, I want to share 5 important reasons why followership matters. Let's start with the first point. A leader cannot lead without followers. Think of a school principal, a CEO, or even the Prophet Muhammad SAW during his time. All of them had people around them who supported, followed, and worked with them. If the followers were passive, disconnected, or afraid to speak, the leader would not be able to move forward. Followers give them strength, feedback, or sometimes correction to leaders. According to one study, followers are described as a mirror to leadership, meaning the way followers behave show how effective a leader really is. So, leadership is not one way, it is a mutual relationship. Both sides need each other to grow and succeed. And now, the second point. Followership is a training ground for leadership. Nobody become a good leader overnight. Usually, they go through a journey starting as a followers, learning by doing, making mistakes and growing over time. When you are a follower, you learn many skills like how to communicate well, how to take responsibility, how to work with different people, and how to solve problems under pressure. All of these are leadership skills and they are built slowly through the experience of following. In fact, many great leaders we know today in politics, religion, education started off by being excellent team members first. So, followership is like a foundation that helps someone become a leader later on. Third reason is that followers don't just follow, they also influence the leader. There are studies that talks about 2 important qualities of good followers. Firstly, active engagement by being involved, not passive. Secondly, critical thinking by giving ideas, asking questions, and being brave to share opinions. Followers who are active and think critically help the leaders grow. They push leaders to think deeper, listen better, and lead more wisely. This helps build a type of leadership that called transformational leadership, where leadership that inspire others and bring more positive change. So the leader is not the one who only creating change, but the followers are also part of it too. In short, follower is not just a helper, but they also a partner in progress. The fourth point is very practical. Followership is a path to leadership. Think of leadership like climbing a staircase. You don't jump to the top, but you climb one step at a time. Some researchers describe 5 levels of followership. Firstly, regular workers, committed followers, engaged followers, active followers, and exemplary followers. Lastly, followers also play a big role in keeping leadership ethical and making the organization better. Let's be honest, not all leaders are perfect. Some may become too controlling or make bad decisions. If followers stay silent, this can harm the organization. But when followers are brave, honest, and ethical, they can speak up. They become the first defense against toxic or abusive leadership. Not only that, good followers also bring new ideas. They can suggest improvements, solve problems creatively, and help their team adapt to the change. So followers are not just followers, they are also watchdog for integrity, voice for justice, and source of innovation. When you have that kind of followers in a team, yes, you build a healthier, stronger, and more future-ready organization. Hence, leadership is not a one-man show. It is a shared process between a leader and follower. If we want a better leaders tomorrow, we must start by building a stronger followers today. Those who are active, ethical, thoughtful, and brave. That's all.
I will continue to the next point, and the title is Principle of Followership in the Quran and Sunnah. As we know, in Islam, followership is not about blind obedience. Instead, it is a position of trust and responsibility as stated in Surah Al-Ahzab, verse 72. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إنا عرضنا الأمانة على السماوات والأرض والجبال فأبين أن يحملنها وأشفقن منها وحملها الإنسان إنه كان ظلوما جهولا. Sadaqallahul Azim. This verse shows that being entrusted with responsibility is a weighty matter in Islam. Next, we go to the first point of principles, that is responsibility of the follower. The Prophet Muhammad SAW said, عن ابن عمر عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أنه قال ألا كلكم راع وكلكم مسؤول عن رعيته فالأمير الذي على الناس راع وهو مسؤول عن رعيته والرجل راع على أهل بيته وهو مسؤول عنهم والمرأة راعية على بيت بعلها وولده وهي مسؤولة عنه والعبد راع على مال سيده وهو مسؤول عنه ألا فكلكم راع وكلكم مسؤول عن رعيته. So this hadith reminds us that everyone, regardless of position, holds a responsibility. Leaders, parents, workers, all must fulfill their roles with care and integrity. The next point is obedience within Sharia limits. As we know, obedience is a fundamental value in Islam, but it is not absolute. As stated in Surah An-Nisa, verse 59. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا أطيعوا الله وأطيعوا الرسول وأولي الأمر منكم فإن تنازعتم في شيء فردوه إلى الله والرسول إن كنتم تؤمنون بالله واليوم الآخر ذلك خير وأحسن تأويلا. Sadaqallahul Azim. Also, the Prophet Muhammad SAW said there is no obedience to a creature in disobedience to the Creator. So, this teaches us to stand against unjust or un-Islamic command. In followership, sincerity ensures that our efforts are done not for the fame or for the personal gain, but for the sake of Allah. The Prophet Muhammad SAW said, indeed, actions are judged by the intention. This principle guards the purity of purpose behind our obedience and cooperation. The last point is cooperation and collective good. In Surah Al-Ma'idah, verse 2, Allah commands, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وتعاونوا على البر والتقوى ولا تعاونوا على الإثم والعدوان واتقوا الله إن الله شديد العقاب. Sadaqallahul Azim. This verse highlights the proactive role of followers in creating a just and a harmonious society. To conclude, the concept of followership in Islam is built on 5 principles. First is trust and responsibilities, that is amanah. Second is obedience within the boundaries of Sharia. Third is sincerity and pure intention. Fourth is support for rightness. Five is cooperation for the collective good. A good follower not only strengthens leadership but also contribute actively to trust, justice and the building of the better society.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Mir Adilah binti Muhammad Daud and my metric number is 1231386. So, I will continue presenting on the topic about the good followership in the prophetic era, the model of the combinations as follows. The combination of Prophet Muhammad SAW serve as outstanding example of what it means to be good followers in Islam. They did not follow blindly. Instead, they demonstrated unwavering loyalty, courage and trust anchored in both faith and reason. According to Hisham Al-Talib, 1998, in his book Training Guide for Islamic Workers, life is a test that requires proper preparations and people need more than just theoretical knowledge. They need practical examples to transform knowledge into meaningful action. This is where the combinations played a crucial role, becoming real-life models who brought Islamic principles to life through their action. So let's start begin about our first example. Combinations is Sayyidina Abu Bakar As-Siddiq radhiyallahu anhu during the Battle of Badr. At the time, the Muslim number only 330 while the Quraysh army had 3,000 soldiers. The Muslims were outnumbered nearly 10 to 1. Despite the overwhelming vote, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam decided to proceed with the battle. Abu Bakar radhiyallahu anhu, without hesitation, stood firmly by his side. He did not question the Prophet's decisions. Instead, he placed his complete trust in the Prophet's leadership and in the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, this shows us key qualities of good followership like loyalty, bravery, and absolute trust in leadership and divine guidance. The second example is Sayyidina Umar ibn al-Khattab radhiyallahu anhu, particularly during the Treaty of Hudaybiyah. At the first, the treaty seemed unfavorable to the Muslims. Umar radhiyallahu anhu expressed his concern and dissatisfactions directly to the Prophet, but he did so respectfully. It is because Sayyidina Umar think that the Treaty of Hudaybiyah had justice for the Muslims. But after the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam explained the wisdom behind the treaty, Umar radhiyallahu anhu accepted it and reaffirmed his support. Although he intellectually disagreed, he shows maturity by submitting to the Prophet's decisions, understanding that it was guided by divine revelation. Our last example is Bilal ibn Rabah radhiyallahu anhu. He was originally a slave from Habsha and one of the earliest to embrace Islam. After his conversion, his master Umayyah ibn Khalaf tutored him severely to force him to abandon his faith. But Bilal radhiyallahu anhu remained steadfast, repeatedly declaring Ahad, Ahad means Allah is one, even while enduring immense suffering. He was eventually freed by Abu Bakar as-Siddiq radhiyallahu anhu and went on to become Islam's first official muazzin, chosen by the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself due to his beautiful voice and sincere devotion. So, Bilal's example teach us the good followerships include unshakable faith, passion, resilience, and deep commitment to the cause of Islam. In conclusion, the strength of followership shown by the combination played a vital role in the success of the Islamic mission. Their loyalty, courage, and wisdom not only supported the Prophet Muhammad, but also laid the groundwork for the rise of capable and visionary leaders. Their life remind us of a powerful truth: good followerships today can become great leaders tomorrow.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Siti Nazulaika binti Muhammad Azhar, my matric number 1231471. I will present about the era of the rightly guided caliphs, Khulafa ar-Rashidin, and how their leadership was based on the Islamic principle of shura, which means consultation and mutual deliberation. After the passing of Prophet Muhammad SAW in 632 Common Era, the Muslim community was led by four key caliphs known as the rightly guided caliphs. First, Abu Bakar as-Siddiq, second, Umar ibn al-Khattab, third, Uthman ibn Affan, and fourth, Ali ibn Abi Talib. Their rule followed the principle of shura, consultation and justice, not dictatorships of inherited monarchy. The concept of shura is emphasized in the Quran in Surah Ash-Shura, verses 38, which says, "And consult among themselves in their affairs." This shows that Islamic leadership values collective decision-making and listening to the people. Next, let's move to the key contribution and challenges of each caliph. First, Abu Bakar as-Siddiq. Abu Bakar was the first caliph after the Prophet Muhammad SAW passed away. He had to deal with big challenge like people leaving Islam, what we call is apostasy, and also some false prophets. But before making any big decision like going to the war, he discussed with close companions like Umar. He launched the apostasy wars to protect Islam, showing that he was firm and decisive but always made decision with consultation. Second, Umar ibn al-Khattab. Umar ruled during a time when the Islamic Empire was growing really fast. He organized the government better by creating a structured administration, paid the army through the military payrolls, and made sure the law was applied fairly. He also appointed qualified and trustworthy governors. Even though he was a strong leader, he always asked for advice and practiced shura. sadly, he was assassinated by a Persian prisoner of war. That is Usman ibn Affan. Usman faced internal problems. Some people accused him of favoring his family members when giving out important roles. Even though he was criticized, he stayed calm and avoided using violence, even when his own life in danger. His biggest contribution was standardizing the Quran into one official version, which helped avoid confusion and disagreements in the future. Uthman ibn Affan was eventually killed during a rebellion. The last caliph is Ali ibn Abi Talib. Ali's time as caliph was full of conflict. He had to deal with battles like the Battle of the Camel and the Battle of Siffin, and also with the rise of radical group called the Khalijists. Even though he preferred peaceful solution like agreeing to arbitration tahkim, he also took strong action when needed to protect the Ummah. He was known for balancing mercy with justice. Unfortunately, he too was assassinated while he was praying by a member of the Harijis. In summary, each caliph faced unique challenges, but they all led with consultation, justice, and dedication to Islam. Their leadership helped shape the early Muslim world and still inspires how we view leadership in Islam today.
My name is my matric number 1231422. Now I will share with you guys 3 stages of the development of followership in Islamic civilization, which is the Umayyad, Abbasid and Ottoman era. The first is the Umayyad era, began in 991 century when Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan became the first caliph. They introduced a royal system, which is monarchy system, where leadership remained in the family. During this period, the Islamic Empire expanded from Spain in the west to the borders of India in the east. During this period, many fields of knowledge developed, such as the interpretation of the Quran, Arabic grammar, geography, and many other fields of knowledge. The development of ilmu fiqh and hadith also occurred during this period, where it was written and compiled well. From an economy, Islamic coins were introduced, and the Baitul Mal, which is public treasury, helped to manage money matter. But behind that story, there were also problems that led to its downfall. Among them, non-Arab Muslims called Mawali still had to pay additional taxes and were not given political rights. Next, the tax system was unfair and often corrupt. And the last issue, power struggle within the royal family caused instability. Eventually, this issue led to major revolts, and the Umayyad rule fell in 750 of century. Now, Abbasid era. The Abbasid Caliph was founded by Abdullah as-Saffah with support from the Shia, Hawarish, and Mawali, which is non-Arab Muslim, who had been oppressed during the Umayyad rule. Early caliphs such as Abu Ja'far al-Mansur ruled the great city of Baghdad and introduced a new system, including the role of vizier and organized government department. This period is known as the Golden Age of Islamic learning. Institutions such as the Baitul Hikmah, which is House of Wisdom, were established to spread knowledge throughout the Muslim world. However, the Abbasid era also faced various problems like internal rebellion from the Shia and breakaway provinces weakened the central government. Power struggle within the royal family also causes political instability. Finally, in 1258, the Mongol attacked and destroyed the city of Baghdad, marking the fall of the empire's golden scepter. The caliph thereafter became weak and mere puppets, while real power was held by viziers, mercenaries, and elites influenced by foreign power. Corruption was rampant and the people lived without protections. The common people lived in fear, poverty, and confused victim of faith, leadership, and collapsing government. And the last one is Ottoman era. The Ottoman Caliph was founded by Osman in the Anatolia region, which is now part of modern-day Turkey. One of the greatest achievements was the conquest of Constantinople by Sultan Muhammad al-Fatih, which was later renamed Istanbul. Many important institutions were established, such as the Shah Zaman Madrasah, the Android education system, and the Sulaiman Mosque, which not only served as a place of worship but also as a center for community and social development. However, before the empire fell, they faced many serious problems. First one is a major economic crisis. An increasing national debt weakened the empire from the foreign pressure, especially from Jewish group, pushed to buy land in Palestine. Number 3, false accusation were made against the Sultan, such as claim that he burned the Quran, and plain political killing. 4, the young Turkey, who were influenced by Western ideologies, no longer prioritize Islamic value and allow Palestine to fall into foreign hands. And number 5, foreign interventions became stronger, weakened the leadership of Muslims. Many Muslims at the time lacked religious awareness, were easily influenced by propaganda, and lost respect for Islamic leadership. Eventually, the Islamic Caliphate was officially abolished in 1924, marking the end of hundreds of years of unity and sovereignty for the Muslim Ummah. The fall of past Islamic Caliphate showed that justice, integrity, and Islamic leadership values are crucial. When leaders allow injustice, corruption, and foreign influence, the people suffer and lose trust. To avoid repeating history, Muslim leaders must uphold justice and earn the people's trust.
So, in my part, I will discuss about the contemporary challenge in Islamic followership today. We always hear leaders must be fair, trustworthy, respect and others. But what about the followers? Many forget that the success of Islamic organization is not only about leaders, but also about followership. Yes, followers have a big responsibility too. So, one of the main challenge today, followers don't understand the direction. When the vision is not clear, followers become confused. In the end, they follow orders without energy, without understanding and so on. But a good Islamic leader must have strong vision and must inspire followers to move to the same goal. Second problem, no qudwah hasanah, which is a no example. When the leader doesn't show good action, discipline or ethics, how can followers follow with heart? Islam teach that leaders must reflect Islamic value, so followers have a good clear guide in what to do. And another issue, followers lost motivation. Why? Because they feel not appreciated, not supported, not given space. When they feel like this, anyone will lose energy to give their best. Leaders must create a positive environment, build follower spirits, not pressure them, but guide them. In Islam, obedience is important, but not blind obedience. In Surah An-Nisa verse 59, Allah said to obey the leader, but only when the leader follow Allah SWT and the Prophet Muhammad SAW. If the leader is wrong, we cannot stay quiet. Islam wants us to correct with wisdom. Another challenge is followers today are afraid to speak. When they say something wrong, they stay silent. When they have idea, they keep quiet. But in Surah Al-Imran, verse 110, Allah said, you are the best people when you enjoying good and forbid evil. So we cannot be passive followers. We must speak up with manners and strong reason. Also, the spirit of Shura is fading. Many followers just follow but don't give idea. But in the time of Prophet Muhammad SAW, companions always give opinions and discuss. So we as followers must be part of the solution, not just followers with no input. So the conclusion is followership is in Islam is not passive. We must be followers who obey with understanding, correct wisely, give effort and contribute ideas. Only then can Islamic organization move forward in balance with good leaders and strong followers. Remember, we all have a role, not just to follow, but to help the truth together. This is real Islamic followership. Let's upgrade our role as followers, not just follow blindly, but follow with spirit and effort. For the success of Ummah, we all have to play our part.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Aisra binti Zainuddin and my metric number is 1231383. I would like to continue the presentations on the topic perspective from contemporary Islamic scholars on followership. In Islam, followership is not a passive act, it is an active responsibility. Followers are expected to obey within Islamic values, advise leaders respectfully, and correct mistakes with wisdom. In our modern world, this role is even more important because of challenges like secularism and leadership crisis. Let's look at two well-known Islamic scholars, Dr. Yusuf Al-Qaradawi and Imam Hassan Al-Banna. First, Dr. Yusuf Al-Qaradawi. He sees followership as a moral and social duty. It's not just about supporting a leader, but about helping to transform society for the better. He emphasized wasatiyah or moderations, meaning Muslims should avoid extreme obedience and always act with knowledge and balance. One of the biggest problems, he said, is taqlid a'ma, blind imitations. Good followers should have the courage to advise, not just follow blindly. He warns against two dangers, radicalism and secularism. Both can damage unity. Most importantly, followers must work to improve themselves and the ummah. Secondly, Imam Hassan Al-Banna. He focused on tarbiyah or education. He believed that followers should be well trained in all areas, spiritually, intellectual, and social. He created the concept of usra, a small group system based on three things. The first one is ta'aruf, which is getting to know each other, tafahum, mutual understanding, and the last one is takaful, mutual support. He also warns against the cult of personality when people follow leaders just because they like them, not because they follow Islam. For him, true loyalty is to Islam, not to individuals. Imam Hassan Al-Banna's ideas influenced many integrated Islamic schools, especially in Indonesia, promoting a balanced education system that combines Islamic and modern knowledge. In conclusions, both scholars agree that followers are not passive and obedience must be within Islamic boundaries. Dr. Yusuf Al-Qaradawi promotes justice, moderation and moral strength, and Imam Hassan Al-Banna emphasized education, disciplines and collective responsibility. In today's world, we need followers who are wise, educated and courageous, people who follow Islam, not just people. By reviving the spirit of nasiha, which is advice, and adab, which is good manners, we can build a better Islamic society. Thank you.
These are some of the strategies we can use to be the best followership for leaders. The first one is obedience with understanding. A good follower does not just obey unthinkingly, but understand the reason behind his leaders' orders. In the Quran, Surah An-Nisa, verse 59, there is an order to obey ulil amri. However, Islam does not teach blind obedience to leaders because it requires obedience based on the benchmark of truth from God. So when a leader adheres to the demands of Allah and His Messenger, he must be obeyed. Second, in the process of decision-making shura, mutual consultation in all of their dealings with his ummah and in the decision-making process. Shura and Huriyah al-Kalam, freedom of expressions, is a process involving mutual consultation that must be adhered to by those in position of authority so as to ensure a sense of participation and fairness in problem solving and decision making. Example of the Prophet Muhammad SAW, shura occurred in the battle of Khandaq. The suggestion of the companion Salman to be trenched as a defense mechanism worked well to the Muslim. This situation showed the spirit of shura was in evidence during the Prophet Muhammad SAW time. This strategy proved to be very effective in defending Medina from enemy attacks. This showed that a good leader must be willing to listen to and respect the opinions of his followers. Third, actively providing input. Islam teaches that followers must start to express their opinions if they see their leaders making mistake. When a leader makes a mistake, followers must warn them of their mistake gently and politely. Remind them if they are negligent and unite human heart to obey him and pray for their goodness. In Surah An-Nisa, verse 59, Allah firm believers. Obey Allah and obey the messengers, and the dust from among you who are invested with authority. And then, if you were to dispute among yourself about anything, refer it to Allah and the messenger. If you indeed believe in Allah and the last day, that is better and more commendable in the end. In conclusion, followership is not a passive role. In Islam, it is a form of trust and accountability before Allah. Building strong, cautious, and value-driven followers not only support current leaders but also ensure that future leaders will emerge from a community grounded in ethics, knowledge, and sincere purpose. Leaders are very important to us, therefore, we as followers need to give them good cooperation, it can give great career to the leaders.
That's all from us. Thank you.